welcome to my surrogate pregnancy vlog week 5, still at the very beginning. This week has been a little crazy, not actually due to the surrogate pregnancy but due to my children. I have a son who's 3 and a daughter who's 2, and my daughter has been very sick. She had a virus, she had mouth ulcers. She wasn't eating much, she had constant diarrhoea, so she had to come out of big girl knickers, and she didn't want to go in big girl knickers not so long ago, and now she doesn't want to come out of them. So there's a lot of hissy fits, 8 nights of like possibly 2 hours of sleep, that is it. It's just been completely fraught. And she's just getting better now. I'm not being woken every hour. Mummy, tummy hurts, and having to rub her tummy for ages and then change her nappy and have the scream fit because she's wearing a nappy and all of that lot. So she finally slept last night. She slept the whole night apart from being woken up by her brother, who at 4 o'clock decided to... Alice, not too close to the telly, sweetness. Good girl, you're going to sit down. Decided at 4 o'clock, we didn't decide to, woke up and vomited all over his bed. I was like, great. So he's crying, woke up Alice. So of course I went running in there and I took his jammies off, stripped his bed and washed him down and settled him to bed with my husband and myself with a towel, and just gave him strict instructions: if you're going to throw up on the towel. I can just wrap that up and put it in the washing. You're not throwing up all over my bedding. Because I haven't got room for my duvet in the washing machine. 8 kilograms, my new one. Yay! I'll get on to that in a little bit. It's probably going to be in 2 parts because, well, I'm just splurging. Won't fit in, so I was like, throw up for the love of God on the towel, which he did. He's such a good boy. So I was just like, I don't like Sod and his stupid blooming laws, because she's finally, the first day where she's actually getting like properly better, and now my son's sick. I was like, oh, that's just not fair. So again, I look like an exhausted person, so I'm feeling incredibly tired, but through lack of sleep, not because of the pregnancy. But my son, luckily, is a much better sick person than my daughter. My daughter is incredibly dramatic. There was lots of screaming, lots of tears, lots of temper tantrums. There was refusal to eat. Just amazing amount of stress. She actually, I did a video already, and she had the mother of all hissy fits on the floor. Right at the beginning, and I tried to calm her down, but I ended up running over the time. I have to keep an eye on the little timer on here. So she's a little dramatic still. But George, on the other hand, is just lying peaceably on the sofa. He's had a little nap. He's now watching television with a blanket, and he's got a thick bucket. My baby, my poor baby. Oh, I love him so much. But I love both of them ridiculously loads. But I'm feeling really awful for both of them. But what I think is going to happen is Alice has got it. As soon as she's over it, George gets it. As soon as he's over it, Darren will get it, and I'll end up being a nursemaid to him as well. And then I'll get it. And by then, Darren won't be able to take any time off of work because he's been off sick for himself. And I'll have 2 kids that are still a bit overtired and a bit dramatic because of everything that's gone on. And I'm going to be sick, and there's going to be no one to look after me, and I'll still have to get up and do everything for the kids. And every other time I've ever got like a serious cold or V&D or anything vaguely nasty, I've been left on my own to deal with the kids, and it sucks because you just feel like crap. Oh, I don't know if I'm supposed to say that word on vlogs. Sorry if I'm not. I shouldn't say it in front of the children either. So yeah, that's led me to be very tired. Very emotionally drained as well. Awful when your kids are sick. It's awful because when they're 2 and 3, you can't really explain to them why they're sick. You know, you can't make it better. You can't get them to understand, and I hate that. I absolutely hate, loathe, and detest that with a passion. It's just horrible. Anyone out there that is a parent will know how horrible it is to watch your kids suffer, and they're not even suffering on a major thing. It's not like they've got leukemia and going through chemo. I don't know how mothers with those serious things cope, and do you know what? I take my hat off to you. I commend you such a large amount, because I just think I'd end up in the asylum. I'd be a crazy person. I wouldn't be able to cope if anything happened to my kids. I would not be able to cope. So thankfully they're better, and it's not too bad. Pregnancy wise, I said I don't think the tiredness is anything to do with pregnancy, but I have got tender breasts, especially in the morning. And on my right side, I had to go in for cancer screening when I was expecting my daughter. I was about 6 months. Got these lumps that came up on the side of my chest, and went to the doctor. And the doctor was like, that's not right. I'm sending you to the Jarvis Centre in Guildford, which is the breast cancer specialist. And I was like, oh. My mum had just had breast cancer shortly after my son was born. She was diagnosed when he was like a matter of weeks old. It was awful time for me when George was born. Everything that could have gone wrong did go wrong. It was awful, but brilliant. It was like the best and worst 6 months of my life. Worst because of everything that went on, and the best because I had my son. I had my first child, and I wanted him so much. But maybe I'll get into that as the videos go on. So there was a fear of that because my mum's quite young to have had breast cancer, and my great-grandmother had it, and I think one of my great-aunts, my nan's sister, had breast cancer and everything. So I was like, oh, great, that really would be my luck. So I went in there, she said it's nodular growth, and it's all right at the minute, but it could turn cancerous, so I have to keep a really close eye on it. So every time it flares up, I feel a bit like, oh, but that's rock solid in the morning, that area of the nodular growth. There's like one dip and a big lump that's like probably about that big. It can feel, or it feels probably a marble, size of marble. You can feel the top half of it, and that freaks me out. And then a few little tiny lumpy bits. It's very knobbly bobbly and very firm, and with the dip, with the big dent and everything, and it still freaks me out a little bit when I feel it. I'm like, I'm also really scared it's going to grow and I'm going to have breast cancer and I'm going to end up bald, because I really don't think I can pull off the bald look. But it wouldn't be the end of the world. I'd fight it tooth and nail. But I don't think I'm just a bit dramatic at times. But it is scary when you're told that there's, you got some lumps there and, they could turn. I'm like, ah. So I'm meant to go in every year, but of course, me being me, I haven't, because I'm an idiot. There's me and the again, honestly, I'm the queen. Other than that, I haven't really had any symptoms. I'm just going to check the time. 7 minutes to. God, really close up while I'm trying to look at the numbers. Honestly, I can only apologise for that hideous view of my nose. If I eat sugar, like sugar sweets, like proper sweeties, oh, I feel so ill, which is a good thing, because, oh, baby boy. When I was pregnant with my daughter, I craved Haribo sweets. Like Dolly mixtures, jelly babies, jelly beans. I could not get enough of them, and, unfortunately, correspondently, I should say, that would be the wrong word. Anyway, I'm not here. Thanks to that, I was mafusive, absolutely humongous. When she was born, I was like an 18 to 20, which I apologise to people that are 18 for me, because I'm quite short. And normally I put my hands up before I had kids. I've always been quite a big girl. I don't do that skinny stuff. I'm voluptuous and sexy. Deluded as well. But I was like 14 to 16, so to have gone up to an 18 to 20 at my height, I just felt it was just too much for me. But I'm still on the larger side of the larger scale end of the 16 now, so I'm still quite a big girl. And I'm quite happy to get down to a 14, 16. I wouldn't want to be any smaller. It wouldn't suit me. I think women should have breasts and bums and hips and thighs and waists a little bit. I think that's quite sexy, and I do think my husband likes people with fat on them. Not like massive as much, but he likes a bit of flesh. He thinks that's very feminine and womanly, and I'm looking again. It's okay, I think. But, I don't know, I can't tell. He does quite like that. That's his thing. So, yeah, I wouldn't lose too much weight, but I don't want to look massive after baby's gone, because there's no, like, if you look really big and you're pushing around, or you look really big and exhausted and flabby and horrible, and I'm so sorry because the amount of people I could be insulting right now, it's not intentional, genuinely. I look awful after I've given birth. Regardless of my size, I look awful. My hair's lackluster, my face is awful, I look pale and saggy and just awful. And I don't want to look too much like that, because I'm not going to be pushing around a pram. If you've got a woman that looks like that and they're pushing around a pram, your heart goes out to them. You're like, oh, I remember that, you poor little love. When you're walking around, I've just got 2 young kids, people are just going to think, dude, make an effort when you go out in public. Please, you're frightening my children. So I don't want to do that.